Greetings, ladies and gents. 9.2 PTR has landed. Zereth Mortis, I'm gonna pronounce that wrong all the way through this, I apologise, has opened its doors. It's time to gather your party and venture forth and see what the last installment of Shadowlands has to offer us. So this is going to be an overview of what is currently available on PTR. Sadly that means, at least for now, we will not be talking about the cipher of the first ones, as it's unlocked at the end of chapter 3 in the Zereth Mortis storyline, and that currently hasn't been implemented on PTR. We get this fetching message saying to be implemented soon. Hope you've enjoyed the story so far, and yeah, that's where it ends. Now, apologies at this point, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to have all this cool stuff ruined for them. But hey, you are watching a video regarding Zereth Mortis, so, you know, spoilers. Now, when you first log in, once 9.2 has dropped, you will be told it is time to take the fight to the jailer. Yes, we are going to chase him. Whatever realm he is headed to, we're off after him. Now you head to Erebus and you have some fun and games kick off, and next thing you know, you and your apparently brand new super best mate in the whole world, Pelegos, are in a strange new land. Yes, before you put in the comments, hold fire. I have heard the very strong rumours regarding Pelegos and where this is going with regarding to the story. I will say this, from a personal point of view, it feels very strange to suddenly be bestie mates with Pelegos on my non-Kyrian characters. Like, from a personal point of view, especially on my DK, I've had very little to do with him in my Covenant storyline. As a Venthyr, I way prefer to be with somebody like Kelthus than Pelegos. Unfortunately, as is the way with WoW recently, characters just become uber powerful or super important or just suddenly turn up because the story needs them to, rather than being slowly built up over time. So we actually really care about them. But that, trust me, is a video all on its own. An interesting twist would have been Pelegos leaving the Kyrian. You know, while we were leveling up, going through the story, he was kind of our NPC who was doing what we were doing. He would spend time with each covenant, trying to understand them, trying to understand his role within those covenants. That way we'd actually be interested with Pele. We'd view Shadowlands from Pele's point of view. It would have made way more sense why now Pele was joining us. Even if we could have been like, oh, I'd rather take Kelthus or whoever, I'd be like, no, okay, fine, we've shared this experience and Pele wants to help, so that's cool, let's go for it. And so Pele's with us and we go after the jailer, and yeah, this is kind of the biggest issue that I have with the whole of Zereth Mortis. But I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here. Let's just rein it back in and let's carry on. So we land in this mystical zone. And I will say this, once again, this is commonplace. The art team have knocked the ball out of the park. This zone is stunning. The first introduction is like, you will take a second and just look around and be like, oh wow, this is cool. Now, as you would expect, we meet strangers that need us to help them, and in return, they will teach us about the new land we are in. Yeah, this is literally Major Patch 101. We get a new land to go to, we meet a new group of people. They want us to do something for them. In return, they will help us beat the big bad. It will come as no surprise, of course, that the jailer and his Morsworn boy band are already here in force, so that is our first job. We start out with a win. You know, it's the normal beats. We start out with a win, we beat the jailer's forces back. Ooh, something happens. Oh no, all is lost, we're doomed. We can't get the jailer. But wait, someone has a plan. Yeah. And once that happens, once we get to that bit where the jailer's escaped and we're going, ooh, we're going to have to rethink all of this, as always happens, when we're no longer dealing with this, and this is a personal point of view, awful jailer storyline, the zone comes alive. It comes into its own. The quests are interesting, involving the zone itself, making it feel something special. We get to discover this in interesting and different ways. While doing that, we discover more about the people that live here, why they do what they do. The whole story feels just fresh, interesting, and small. And I mean that in a good way. So recently myself, Cuddles, and one of our officers, Mampy, went and played Classic Mastery. And all the quests we did felt small. They felt like a role-playing game. They felt like Dungeons and Dragons. They felt like those style of quests. Go and gain food for some villagers. Recover equipment that's been stolen. Defeat a nasty person. It felt grounded. And you could do that with a grandiose story, but you can keep it feel grounded. I mean, the best example I can think of is Lord of the Rings. Yes, the story as a whole is huge and epic. The very fate of the world hangs in the balance, but it's taken slowly. A simple first step out of the Shire. Head to an inn. And then it snowballs, but it never loses that sense that it's just one more small step you need to take. WoW, in my personal opinion, has lost that. It's all giant stories with massive stakes. Each more crazy and world-ending than the last. But once you've kind of reached world-ending level events, you can't really go much more world-ending. Oh my god, this is even more world-ending than the last. It's like, okay, the world's going to end if we fail. That's kind of, yeah, we get it. Now, you want me to fight the jailer and end Shadowlands? I'm fine with that. That's what I need to do. That's what my character needs to do. Fine. But I don't really care. It's one of the reasons I actually enjoy dungeons. They hark back to that old idea that it's me and 4 of my adventure mates diving into this dangerous place just for fortune and glory.
Fortune and glory.
And that's when this zone, as I said, comes into its best. When it goes away from the overarching story and just becomes this small new land that we get to explore. On a side note here, I will say hunters and pet battlers are going to have a field day. Like, the animals here in this zone are amazing. I mean, next level stunning. The critters or battle pets are just so different from what we're used to seeing. It's amazing. I can't speak to the abilities. I'm not a pet battler. I don't know whether I've been told that there's a current issue with pet battling meta. I have no idea if these new pets are going to change that. But just in terms of aesthetics, it is amazing. Now, it has been said that this zone will have 0 powers that can be used in raids or dungos. Meaning, if this really isn't for you, if after the Maw and the Corthia you're just like burnt out, which I don't blame you, then you can give this a miss and still be all good. In terms of extra sockets, yeah, I'm sure that's true. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, beforehand, in Season 1, Season 2, in the Maw and in Corthia, you were able to purchase extra sockets for your gear. This added a really nice power gain. But you had to farm like crazy, especially those World First Guilds, those Mythic Raiders. They had to do some serious grinding, especially in the Maw. Is this going to mean that if there's no extra power to be gained, you can just log in for your raid or for your M+, and you're all good? I can completely pass on Pickle, Zimmer and Morty? Well, I'd pump your brakes on that. I've heard a lot of people say you can completely skip this. We're still going to need that waste Lego. Probably the biggest single power gain we're going to gain from 9.2. The ability to use 2 Legos. One, which is going to be a Lego of your choice. And the other from the new belt that will swap its power depending on whatever covenant you're part of. This 100% is going to be part of the Shadowlands storyline. And it's going to take place in Zippy and Bungle Moors. We know this. So yeah, every Tuesday or Wednesday, you may have to log in and do 30 minutes of work just to finish the next part of the story. But then, you're free, my friend. Go about whatever it is you want to do. And that hit me. That's an interesting idea that Blizzard haven't done for a long time. Let's be honest, Blizzard care about user playing hours. It's replaced sub count as the all-important thing. They want players to be sat there playing for longer, because players that play for longer tend to pay more money. They tend to buy store mounts. They tend to have 6-month subs. Just like a casino, the longer they can keep the player at the table, the more money they're going to make for them. Blizzard have exactly the same idea. So you then drop into that the idea that we have this patch that says, hey, you can log in for 30 minutes once a week, and then you're good to go until raid night. So the flip side of that, if player hours are still going to be important, and you're not going to force a player just to grind out these new zones, then Blizzard actually have to bring something to the table. They have to make what we're going to play interesting, else we are just going to walk off. People are going to go and play, you know, Final Fantasy or whatever it is they want to do until raid night. So Blizzard are going to have to entertain us. They are going to have to make this experience enjoyable. And I will say, the brief time, and it hasn't been brief, I've played it for about a morning so far. It has been a very enjoyable experience. As I say, once you get past the Shadowlands BS, you get that out of the way. The new Torghast wing, the Jailer's Gauntlet, is crazy fun. Cannot wait to jump into that with a guild. Not going to dive into too many details. We're probably going to have a video on that tomorrow. So fingers crossed we are turning a corner. People have become sick of uninteresting grinds for power. Power that we're going to lose. You know, oh, it's just a couple of months down the road, and the next season comes out, all your power gains have gone, you have to re-grind it out again. We're sick of that. We need something different. Sure, the core of this is Major Patch 101, but it does feel like they've added just a little dash of flavour, a little dash of something different.
Water laced with nothing more than a few spoonfuls of LSD.
Something that makes this more interesting to the palate than Korthia or the Moor or, you know, the other experiences we've had before. Even Oldham and, the Vale that we had in BFA. Just felt like you were doing it for the grind. This actually feels different. Now, Blizzard need to be aware, and I can't imagine they won't be, that people are going to come back for 9.2. And then, you know what? They're going to leave again. Blizz, when they do that, don't panic. Don't suddenly lose faith in this idea that the non-grind approach isn't working. We have to go back to forcing them to play. The non-grind approach is the right way. Please stick with it, because if you do, this bodes so well. Not just for 9.2, but for 10.0 and beyond. So yeah, 9.2 is looking pretty good so far. But that is enough for me. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and tomorrow we face the Jailer Gauntlet. Laters on.